let the crowd connect.
But in Japan, you know, the guys kind of, you got Manoa Man, and you got fucking Giant Silva. You got guys that have a gimmick. You got Butterbean over there fighting, and you got, like, Akabono. You got guys that are over there with gimmicks, and people know who the fuck they are, and they come out, and they fucking look at them. Over here, you got Brock Lesnar. He's not even a gimmick, but people know who the fuck he is because he was pushed by a gimmick company.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, when I watch... perfect example, if I ever turn on Versus and watch a couple of fights, I'm entertained, but I could never tell you who won what. I don't know their names. You know, I know their names while I watch it, and then it's, you know, I watch it, and it's out of my head.
Exactly. Oh, me too. And I watch every fight I could possibly watch. I got like Key Vision or Key TV or whatever on my fucking computer, so I can tune into Japanese channels at fucking 5 in the morning to watch like 10 hours of a fucking broadcast of fucking MMA. You know what I mean? I'm a sick fuck like that. I watch the shit. I watch every UFC. I watch every Ultimate Fighter reality show. I watch every fight night. Like tonight, I'm watching this. But I couldn't tell you. Like if I see a guy, it's like, well, I've heard that fucking name before, but I couldn't tell you who he is or what he looks like. But then you got like dudes like Clay Guida with his long hair and he's crazy fuck up or
who's the Fang guy? Who's
Josh,
the vampire?
Josh Thompson.
Yeah. You do something like that? You know,
but
people don't even have to know your name, but they know you. And you can lose, but people still know you. And that's what keeps you in the game. You know, that's what gives you more longevity.
Perfect example would be Phil Baroni. Phil Baroni gets his ass beat almost every single fight. But he comes out, he's got a kind of a gimmick. He walks out in like a pro wrestling style robe. He struts, wears sunglasses, talks a shitload of shit, has a real good body. He would be perfect as an X Division guy maybe in TNA because of his size. He wouldn't be a good heavyweight because he's just too small. But he would be a perfect X Division size fucking guy, cruiserweight size guy in wrestling because he's got the shit talk. But he just gets his ass beat every time. But he'll never be out of work because he's entertaining and people want to see him because he's a shit talker.
He's awesome.
Frank Shamrock.
People don't want to see him win. They want to see somebody kick his ass.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, people want to see him get beat most of the time. See, I want to see him win because I think he's pretty entertaining, but he always gets beat. He always gets beat, but he talks up such a great game that you believe he could win. Even though you know he's going to get his ass beat, you know he talks himself up so fucking much that you think he's going to fucking win. And
well, that's the guy that he knows that, hey, I might not be the best fighter, but if I want to keep cashing a paycheck and I want to keep fighting, I need to do something to separate myself from all these other, vanilla guys. And
right, and he has, and I think that's an important lesson for guys, because if you're not Fedor or like the top guy, you have to fucking do something to set yourself apart. A lot of these guys, I mean, they have no, like you got Jason Mayhem Miller. He's never going to be out of a job. He's not in the UFC. But he does a show called Bully Beatdown because he's an entertaining guy. When he fights to entertain. He fights as a pro wrestler. He says he's a pro wrestler, and he fights he fights in that way. He clowns while he's fighting. He takes his time. He fucking punishes guys. He fights as a pro wrestler. He fights to entertain, win or lose. He might lose. He wins a lot more than he loses, though. Unlike Phil Baroni, he wins a lot more than he loses. But he's an entertaining guy. MTV looked at him and said, damn, this guy's pretty fucking good. Let's give him his own show. And he's fucking awesome on it. And he'll never be out of work because he'll always be a name now. Whereas you got these guys, like I was reading down this list of Chris Wilson, Mike Pyle, Jay Silva, Jeremy Stevens, Mike Pierce, Steve Steinbeis. Who knows who these guys are? No one's ever going to know who they are. It won't matter. They could win the belt. No one's going to fucking know who they are. It doesn't matter.
You bring up kind of an interesting thing, too, because, we've talked about the Red Rooster before and how he couldn't get it over just because his heart wasn't into it. But, Matt Bourne, as, Doink the Clown, I mean, that's a pretty silly-ass gimmick, I mean, there's a pretty good chance that if he didn't put his heart into it and make it work, guys got to get themselves over. You got to go out there no matter how dumb you think you look, and you got to wreck motherfuckers and climb the, rankings, or lose, but put in such an effort that people still want to pay to see you. And,
right, yeah.
Matt Bourne, Doink, did his job perfectly.
But what you're saying, though, about the Red Rooster, I'm not even saying that the Red Rooster's heart wasn't in it or not in it. What I say about the Red Rooster is that people remember that. Like, it's a memorable name, idea, gimmick. Like, even if people wouldn't remember one match he was in, which they probably don't, they remember the gimmick. And you could say, yeah, the Doink the Clown gimmick, 50 guys have that gimmick now on the indie scene and are making a living doing the Doink the Clown gimmick. So it's obviously a memorable gimmick. Obviously, most of the state commissions aren't going to let a guy come into an MMA match with clown makeup on, but you could do something similar, you know.
Look no further than Big Van Vader. Vader would have his helmet. Guys could use some intimidation stuff and separate themselves from the rest of the pack just by wearing a mask. Wearing something to intimidate.
You have a guy like Sakuraba who comes in. He's always got an elaborate fucking entrance with wrestling masks. He's throwing out to the crowd. He's wearing wrestling masks with multiple guys. He's fucking wearing. He's always got an elaborate video production. There's always something. You got a guy like Gono who comes out dancing with a bunch of fucking dancers and shit like that. You got a lot of guys have fucking cool ideas for entrances. And I think the UFC, that's the one thing they're really lacking is a really cool entrance stage like Raw maybe would have. Their guys could get over huge if they would put in something like that. And give each guy their own separate entrance instead of just them coming out, some music and fucking getting checked in the fucking... And there's another thing about MMA that sucks, is that when they check them before they get in the ring, and they just stand there outside the ring checking for their mouthpiece and their fucking all that bullshit, they can do that shit in the ring. There's no reason why a guy couldn't come out in his shit, get in the fucking ring, octagon, and then have the guys come over there and do like all that checking that shit while the other guy's coming in. That's fucking...
that's gotten real
It's just annoying. It takes a long time.
What I find annoying is in total nonstop action, they break from the fight for a commercial. Do the commercials while the guys are doing their entrances. You don't have to see their entrance every show. Like, it adds to it, and it's a great thing, but it's there live. If you see it every third show, you're going to know it's there, and let's get to the fights. I hate the commercials during matches.
Yeah, I understand, but see, I tape the show or DVR the show, so I never even see the commercials anyway, and I tape through or I fast forward through all of the chick fights. Hey, let me ask this because this is weird. We got a fucking call from Utah coming in, and I don't know who that is. Utah, are you on there?
Hello.
Utah.
Hey,
what do you think? What do you think about Hello? What are you thinking about TNA?
TNA? I'm not thinking about TNA. I'm thinking more about CBT. Do you know what that is?
What are you talking about? CBT.
Cock and ball torture, of course.
No, we don't like that. We're not thinking about that at all, on any level. What is this? What are you talking about? Why are you calling up about cock and ball torture when we're talking about TNA?
Well, because there's this guy in Utah that I play with sometimes, and he likes TNA, but he likes CBT even more. And Are you talking about TNA wrestling? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about tits and ass. What kind of show is this?
This is a fight show, lady.
We're talking about fighting, and you're talking about torturing a guy's cock and balls.
Oh yeah, well, there's a little fight in that. There's quite a bit of fight in that actually, unless you do it right. You have to restrain them. And you have to grab them by their fucking nuts and just let them know who's boss.
Oh,
okay. Where can you see this on pay-per-view? When's the next pay-per-view?
I'm sorry?
Do you make videos for this?
I don't know. Are you offering to help me make one?